GM, trade of the day. Going to look at Bitcoin, a little bit of a view of the positioning. And I'm using Velo because Velo has one useful metric that Coinlise doesn't, which is the spot premium. And so this bottom tab, the aggregated premium, if it's negative, it means that spot is trading at a premium to futures. And if it's positive, it means that futures are leading the market. So as you've seen, all the way through 2023, pretty much, we had super low funding rates, which is this one here. And obviously that meant that we had a spot premium. So the market was being driven by not excess speculative leverage. And eventually we ended up breaking up into our ETF pump, in which futures led and took over. And we got high funding rates. We saw open interest spike up. But since then, since we had the top and we flushed out, we actually flushed out before that, we flipped back the other way. So we've now pushed from a perp premium, all the way back into a spot premium. So again, it means that spot prices are higher than futures prices. That is always a good indicator of a bottom. It doesn't always mean that it's exactly the bottom, as you can see over here. Right, we rallied up as high. We got this little spike of futures-led rally. We went up as high as 31. We grinded down as low as 25, rallied up, dropped down again as low as 25, but we formed a really strong, lengthy spot reaccumulation range between 25 and 31, which eventually led to this massive move. So part of the cause and effect that you want to see is exactly this. Part of what you want to see is that the perp premium disappears and we go back to a spot premium. And if you can see open interest rising steadily, like the best example is over here in August. If you see open interest just steadily rising and staying like flat or rising, not decreasing, it would tell you that most of the leverage has been flushed out and some players are starting to build perp positions again to support the market. Plus, with a spot premium, generally, it means if there's anything going on futures directionally, it's either shorting or there's strong spot demand, one or the other. So this doesn't mean the bottom's in right here. This can sustain for a long time. But I would suspect that since we're not seeing, like, we went to 39, 38, pumping up to 43, 44, the fact that we haven't seen any change, in fact, we've seen an even greater spot premium, that's really good. Because if we bounced off the lows and everyone got super excited again and started longing their longs with leverage, then you wouldn't see this. You would see going the other way, and that would be bad. The fact that we haven't seen that, the fact that we've seen a return to a spot premium, tells me that it can be slow, it can take a while, it can absolutely go down, but I would expect to find a trading range where spot continues to lead, and then away we go. Or we go higher. Now, if we go higher and we start trading up here, you want to watch this. If this flips back from a premium of spot into a premium of perps, you start to see perps leading as we move up here, that's probably going to open up the door for a flush down because it's probably too soon. But as I just analyze this current shitty, sideways, compressing, untradable range that we're in, to me, it seems healthy. It seems like there's accumulation happening on perps. There's a negative premium, so spot's leading, perps are at a discount. So there's got to be some directional shorts in here. And if price breaks higher, then they're wrong. And if we do go lower, I would only expect this to increase, which would mean that just even more likelihood that 40k is the low, and that's where we're going to bottom out before we go higher. So right now, I talked about this on stream yesterday. If I'm looking to trade Bitcoin here, I'll be looking to trade the momentum for the next stage up. So if we break out above here, I can see it going anywhere 44, 45 area. So on the low time frames, what I'll be looking for is some kind of lower time frame uptrend to sustain. Because the way you'll break out of a range is to trend through it. So you'll have a low and a high and a higher low. If we break up to here and back to there and start to move like that, make another high, another higher low, here momentum trades up into that area would be the play for me. because typically you don't see this happening within the range on that time frame. If you do see it, you're probably starting to see the early stage of another uptrend on that low time frame. So I would do nothing in this area until one side or the other breaks, till we break either side, or we start to see some momentum building, or we're getting close to that 44 level and we can trade momentum up to there as a short-term low time frame trade. So that's the only real trade I'm looking for. I'm only looking at longs. I'm not looking at shorts. And then the second long would be flush down, put in a bottom, and then get long. And I do think with the way it's holding, if we do flush down, I don't think it will spend very long down there, especially if it's a bullish part of the reaccumulation. I think it'll be a shakeout, and then away we go, and we'll start moving up. We'll see. Can we go lower? Absolutely. I just don't see it yet. You know, there's plenty of time. There's times to be bearish. There's times to be cautious. I just don't see this as one of them. The closer we get to the halving without, a big breakdown, the more the sentiment's going to shift from, oh, Bitcoin ETF sell the news, to, oh, Bitcoin couldn't even lose 40K on sell the news. Halving coming up. Election year. Printing money. All of that. So, you have to be positioned before the narrative shifts. That's why you buy spot, buy the dip, buy your altcoins, whatever. Because the narrative will just flip like that. And people will suddenly be saying, oh, this is fucking up only bull market again. You need to be long well before that. Because by the time it goes up only bull market, that's when you're starting to say, okay, are people getting too excited too soon? And can we have shakeouts? So that's what I'm looking at. One long momentum, one long if we drop down. And until something changes, that's what I'm looking at. GM.